Ooh, hi guys, it's spooky season.
Ooh. Guys, this is Closing the Gap. I'm Jo'Van,
And I'm Brandice.
and we talk about topics that have to do with Christianity, but also they're secular.
With a godly perspective.
Yeah, I know what the show's about. I'm one of the hosts. Anyway, today we have a very special topic.
Ooh, spooky.
Yeah, it's Brandice. Do you enjoy horror? And if you do, what is your favorite horror movie? And even if you don't, what's your favorite horror movie?
Okay. Well, as you know, I get scared very, very easily. So horror movies is not my go-to thing just because I am a spooky person.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I have a favorite one.
Which one comes to mind?
Funny story. Jeepers Creepers.
Oh, that's a good one.
High school, I was watching that movie, Home Alone. And it was during the day.
Wait, were you watching Jeepers Creepers or Home Alone?
I was watching Jeepers Creepers, and I
okay.
was home alone.
Ah, okay.
But it was like midday before my parents got home after school. And then all of a sudden, it was like at the very like climax of the movie, the doorbell rang. And I was like, ah! So I was like,
Yes.
I can't.
Because Jeepers Creepers definitely rings the doorbell.
Let's-
He doesn't, for anyone that hasn't seen the movie. He just comes in.
No, it was, or they were actually on a bus,
Oh, okay.
but somebody rang my doorbell at the very climax of the movie, so it like scared me. So I was like, oh. Anywho, I said all that to say is I don't do scary movies.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah. What about you? What is your favorite scary, spooky movie?
Honestly, I have a couple. I can't even go down. There's different ones, but there's a genre I don't mess with within horror, and that's the spiritual horror genre. I don't do
So I
that.
just said, what's your favorite? So just one.
Huh?
Just saying, not a list.
There's a list. Like, I could go down the list, but we don't have time for that.
No, what's that one? Your favorite, people. I said, what is your favorite?
I don't have a favorite.
Well, just say that, Jo'Van.
Okay. All right. Anyway.
So do you like scary movies?
I do, certain kinds.
Okay.
Certain kinds, because I can separate the ones that are actually entertaining to me versus the ones that actually disturb me spiritually. And so I don't feel like the ones that are just for entertainment, it causes me any type of spiritual harm. Now, that's not but I do want to get into that. It's like, yes, everything that you watch, that even if you don't feel like it's affecting you, that doesn't mean it's not. So that's why one of my points that I want to make today is whenever you watch anything, whether it be horror, because you could make the argument that any genre of movie, television is having an effect on
Everything,
you. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Horror is no different.
Yeah.
Because I would say the main sin probably in horror is like murder, and things like that, but there's other sin. I'm just saying the main thing is probably murder. But anyway, in comedy you can have drunkenness and
Language.
language.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of things. So with me, I know how to discern actively not participate, but actively watch. Don't passively watch anything. Actively watch, understand what you're letting in, and know what to sift in and sift out. But anyway, I did want to get into this verse before I start rambling too much. 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7 says, "For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." So one of the reason why I like that verse is because God did not give us the spirit of fear. We're here to, have faith and trust in him and know that he will take care of us, right? So, and the thing with horror is it's all about fear. Like that's what makes it entertaining, right? So,
I said for some, not for me.
okay, well, that's what makes it entertaining for a lot of people is the fear. And I would argue, fear is not from God. So maybe, that's why you need to be very careful when you watch these movies. But yeah, I don't want to go too far because I want you to make your points. But then I do have some points later on.
Okay. Well, just like you said, the whole point of horror movies is for the fear, and I think that is a con for a lot of. That's why a lot of Christians are say stay away from it. So one scripture is 1 Thessalonians 5:22, abstain from every form of evil. Also, the, Ephesians 4:27, give no opportunity to the devil, because I feel like with a lot of horror movies, you're just planting seeds of fear. So if you're not a fearful person, or for me, if I, since I am like a little more jumpy than other most, if I allowed that to come, I think I would be like a very like more fearful or whatever, planting those seeds. So it's like, why open myself up to those things? And even if you're not as jumpy as me, just I would be very, very careful of what
Absolutely.
you're putting in.
Absolutely.
Because as we were doing research on this, there's a lot of these movies that had like a lot of weird things happening, and I just feel like there's like a spirit behind it that you just got to be very, very careful of
Absolutely.
what you're watching and when you put in. Because, like you said, you might go into it like, oh, well, it's nothing. I enjoy it. Some people really do enjoy scary movies, haunted houses, and it doesn't affect them in as far as like planting that spirit of fear. But you're also opening yourself up for other things that you just want to be very mindful of.
Absolutely.
So,
That's the key. Being
yeah,
mindful.
because it was like, I just want to point out really quick. Do you mind if I?
Go for it.
Okay, that some of the things that were happening in some of the movies, a lot of times like this entire set would just like catch on, burn down. People die while making these movies. And one, the Amityville Horror, it said the entire cast suddenly just kept waking up at what time was it? 3:15. So in that thing, it was a mass murder that were killing 6 people. So 3:15, you put that together, 6, and they're saying they just randomly, and then there's a lot of just weird stuff that happened through a lot of these. I have it all written down, but it's, for the sake of time, I won't go through. But it was a lot of weird things that were going on while making these films. A lot of people, again, a lot of people, cast and crew members, were dying, had horrible nightmares and things from it. One movie, they said it had like random bruises on them, freak accidents, and just like weird light fluttering on and off, and just like weird things kept happening. So it's like obviously this spirit or something behind it that's going on. So I just be careful. That's all I gotta say.
No, I definitely agree. You got to be careful, be mindful of what you're watching, and like, I kind of see some of the movies that you listed there. Like, I don't watch The Exorcist. I've seen the Amityville Horror. I would never watch that movie again.
Yeah.
Because it's just I just don't. It just did not sit well with my spirit at
Yeah.
all. But for me, I mean, I can watch like a like an Alien versus Predator,
Yeah.
which is still considered horror. I looked it up. I thought it was just sci-fi, but it is considered horror as well. And I can watch I can watch Alien versus Predator. I can't watch just Alien because Alien's disgusting. And I can watch Michael Myers and not, because it's like he's not like a spirit. He's a person. So I'm just like, oh man, that would suck to be in that situation where you're stationed. But then after I leave the movie, I don't think he's gonna come kill me. So for me, it doesn't bother me. But for other people, it could really bother them. Like American Horror Story, right? I don't watch American Horror Story because like years ago, when I wasn't as spiritual as I am now, I watched the first 2 seasons. The first season had a spiritual element to it, didn't sit well. So I was like, I'll watch the second episode. Didn't have any spiritual stuff at all. But still, it was just very just dark. And I
Yeah.
was just like, yeah, that's not for me. And it literally, when I get finished watching something, I want to leave it when the credits start rolling.
Mm-hmm.
But when when it follows me for days after that, in terms of like negativity and spiritual disturbance, no.
Yeah.
No. And so I've been able to like, I can watch a zombie movie, you know what I'm saying, and not be bothered. I can watch Don't Breathe. Have you ever heard of Don't Breathe?
I think
The
so.
one where they break in, it's a blind man and they're trying to rob him, but he's like, he can hear really well, and he like,
Yeah.
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 That's considered horror. To me, that's a thriller. So it's just like, you know,
I think it's suspenseful, just not like, yeah. I got what
yeah,
you're
yeah,
saying.
yeah. So I mean, I think it's. I had one thing. Oh, here's an interesting thought. Right, I was doing research on this, and I came across this Christian website, and it was discussing horror movies, and it was discussing a lot of stuff we were talking about, like you got to be careful what you let into your spirit. But it wasn't like saying like you can't watch horror movies. But they made this point. It was like, some of these spiritual horror movies reinforce the fact that there are evil spirits out there and that they are evil, which I think there's a difference. I'm not saying watch the evil spirit movies, but I do think there is a difference between saying this is a movie about an evil spirit and it's evil, it wants to hurt you, versus this is an evil spirit movie, but it's not so bad, it's your friend. You know what I'm saying? Those are, to me, are even worse. You know what I'm saying? When you're not like demonizing the demon, pun intended. So it's like, yeah, like, because some of these movies like The Conjuring and things like that, they have a lot of like evil stuff in it, but at least they're like, this is evil, you know what I'm saying, and it's bad. And it kind of like, it made the argument that it reminds people that there are evil forces out there. It's not, it's not just a movie.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm just gonna leave it with this last little final thought. Just also, guys, be mindful again what you're watching. Pray about it. Like if the movie comes out and you're like, oh, I want to see that, just pray about it. Let the Spirit lead you and say if that's something you should be opening yourself up to, because even if you think it's like so innocent, whatever, just pray about it, because you just never know what's behind the scenes and what you're opening yourself up to. So
100%.
Let us know, guys, in the comments. What do you think about horror movies? Are you a fan, or do you go see horror movies? Or you're like me and like, no, you can keep that genre of movies for yourself.
And let us know if you've seen any horror movies that disturb your spirit. Let us know so we can make sure we don't watch them.
Well, Jo'Van, because I'm not watching them.
Let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know.
But if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Continue watching. Thank you, guys. We love you so much. And until next time, bye.